Welcome to today's live stream. Happy Wednesday. We are talking about how to make a whole big pile of money. Making some money, making the money, making the money. Yeah. I want some gold caps. Not really. But we are going to be talking about abundance. And I just want to say, abundance is your birthright. Everybody's birthright. Everybody is entitled to a life of abundance. Everyone. Everyone. And the number one thing that stops people is the guilt and shame around money. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about. And then we're going to talk about what to do. So first we're going to talk about what to not do, right? And then we're going to talk about what to do. So let me put it this way. I'll make this easy for you to understand. Your natural state is that you are unlimited. Your natural state is to be unlimited. That's your natural state. Your natural state is that you are completely unlimited. That's your natural state. You watching. Everybody knows that you came from source, right? At your very core, you are source, right? And yes, somebody asked, can a spiritual person be a good manifester? Hell yeah. It's your natural state. Spirit is nothing other than a manifester. Source is nothing other than a creator. You know how vast the universe is, right? You know how vast the universe is? You ever seen one of those documentaries where they explain like how gosh darn big the universe is, and you'll see like a star, like a single star. It'll start with like our sun, and then they move out and they go, here's a group of stars, and then they move out and they go, here's a whole cluster of groups of stars. So you started with one star, and then it was, here's a group of stars, and then it's a cluster of groups of stars, and then it's the galaxy, and then it's a group of galaxies, and then it's a cluster of groups of galaxies, and then it's clusters of those clusters, and then it's clusters of those clusters, and then it's this whole region, and then it keeps zooming out, right? You ever seen one of those animations? And it's just fucking mind-blowing how vast the universe is. The known universe, the visible universe, right? So there's even a conversation to be had about physics, right? Astrophysics conversation. And what they discovered is that the universe is expanding faster than light can travel. It's moving, the universe is expanding so fast that at a certain point, light at a certain distance, it will never reach us because the universe is expanding faster than light can get to us. This is conventional astrophysics. So when you see like a picture of the visible universe, for example, they've actually mapped it all out using stereoscopic satellites and infrared cameras and things like this, right? They're very clear that this is a snapshot of the visible universe. It's the visible universe, right? And that means that there's more even still. Now, here's my point. Here's my whole point. The universe is so vast, just the visible universe, even. Never mind what else there is outside of what we can see. That all came from source. Everybody watching knows that. Source is nature. God's true nature is abundance. Producing things, stuff, objects. Abundance. Abundance isn't just money, right? Now, that's one of the most obvious things on our terrestrial Earth. But all that God does is just make things, just produce things on and on, more and more and more and more and more stuff all the time, non-stop. It never stops. There is so much stuff. Abundance is your natural state, guys. You're a creator. That's what you are. You're a creation machine. And just by accepting that and getting rid of all the limiting self-talk, all the guilt and shame around money and abundance, it just organically starts to transform and you start attracting things. It just kind of starts happening. But you got to get rid of the limiting self-talk. And if you really want it, you can on purpose start creating specific things and in large quantities. Large quantities. Abundance is your birthright. Abundance is your natural state. Now that I've explained all this, and I should say pointed this stuff out, right? Because this isn't just somebody's opinion here. This isn't just my opinion. I'm just telling you the nature of the universe and where it all came from, and the nature of God, right? It's not my opinion. It's not subjective. It's not, oh, here's what I think. I'm just telling you, like, here's what we've noticed about how things are, right? It's objective. Okay. What's the problem? If my natural state is abundance, if my natural state is to be completely unlimited, what's the problem? Why is the world the way it is? Why am I broke? Why do I struggle with money? Right. Indeed. We are talking about that right now. There's lots of guilt and shame around the topic of money, and I don't think it's an accident. I'm not going to go too deeply into that today. I'll talk a little bit about that. But if you really want to know a lot about why things are that way in society, why is there this cultural myth around money, shame around money, this scarcity mindset? Why? Why is that there? If you really want to know what I think is going on, check me out over here. This is another place where they have videos, right? It's another platform, just kind of like YouTube, right? Check me out over here. Same name, New World All-Star. All-Star is one word, ALLSTAR. Find me over here. You can watch my videos for free. I'd love it if you would subscribe over here. And I'm kind of in the setup phase right now. My plan is to do a series of videos where I talk about kind of the nasty things, you know, like why our world is the way it is, and who's really running things, and what their agenda is. And it's kind of negative, but my goal is to bring awareness to these nasty things so that we don't succumb to them. When, and this is the example that I always use, when the vampire comes to your house, number one, you need to know what a vampire is. Number two, you need to know what the rules of vampires are. Because the rule is, if a vampire comes to your house and you open the door and there's nothing between you and the vampire, I mean, there's the threshold of the door at your feet, but it's just open. The vampire's standing right there going, "Hi, can I come in?" The rule is you have to say yes. You have to invite the vampire in for him to be allowed to enter your house. So if he says, "Can I come in?" He's standing an inch away from your face. He says, "Can I come in?" You go, "No." And he goes, "Ah, let me in." And you go, "No." And you would think there's nothing to stop him. The door's wide open. He can't do it. That's the rule. Did you know that? And this is the way that the people who run things on earth, it's spiritual warfare. Okay? It's spiritual warfare. And they know if you don't know the rules, you'll let them in and they can do bad things to you. Not the least of which includes embracing a scarcity mindset about money. You guys notice I'm wearing my Christmas present. I bought myself a Christmas present. It was very expensive. And I don't wear this a lot in my YouTube videos because people have the scarcity mindset. Some people might get offended, right? They might look at this and be like, "Oh, well, he's just all about the money. Yeah, fuck him." Right? We need to talk about that. And then they want to know how to attract abundance. And I'm like, well, I don't know. You're saying those things about me. And by the way, what kind of a law of attraction teacher would I be if I didn't have 2 fucking pennies to rub together, if I was broke all the time? Instead, I'm doing pretty good, guys. This was not exactly cheap. Now, it wasn't like $100,000. I don't got that kind of money yet. Maybe I will, but you know, it was, I think it was like $4,000 or $5,000 on sale for this, right? And I'm still paying it off technically, but I'll have it paid off in a month or two. And I just got it on Christmas. That's pretty good, right? I can buy a thing like this and have it paid off in like 6 months. Just a luxury item like this. That's pretty awesome. Isn't that nice? That's pretty good, right? Okay. Wouldn't that be a nice problem for you to have? Yeah. What kind of a law of attraction teacher would I be if I didn't buy this thing for myself for Christmas? You know what kind of car Esther Hicks drives? You know Abraham Hicks? Esther Hicks, the channel for Abraham. Last I heard, she was driving a Cadillac Escalade. Good for her. Good for her. I hope she got the best one too. Brand new. Good for you, Esther. You deserve it. And she's working hard too. She's always doing those talks and, you know, producing a bunch of free content for people. They say more money, more problems. More money, different problems. See, this is the kind of cultural conditioning that we're going to get into here. So again, my aim over here on this place in this place here, if you're looking at your screen, again, I'm over here, same name, New World All-Star. All-Star is one word. My goal is to get through all the kind of nasty stuff, all the negative stuff that we got to talk about. And I hope to have that all done in the next month or two, maybe 3 months. I don't know, not much longer than that. And then I'm going to switch my focus to, all right, guys, let's focus on what we do want. And I'm going to start holding, like group meditations and stuff like that. And together, we're going to create a better world. We're going to create what we do want. But again, you can't manifest what you do want if you don't know what you don't want. Because when what you don't want shows up and you accidentally choose it, that's going to suck. Right? And here's the problem. The people that run planet Earth, they think they run it. The people that seem to think they run things here on this planet, they're trying to trick you. There's an agenda. Okay? So we kind of got to talk about it. So I'm kind of in that setup phase. Again, over here. And then when I'm done, we're going to switch to focusing on the yummy positive stuff. And it's going to be that way indefinitely. And again, occasionally I might have to circle back and review some of the old stuff as needed. But for the most part, I want to just focus on, okay, here's what we do want. And guys, there's lots of solutions. There's lots of solutions on how to fix things on planet Earth. And we, as the spiritual community, the people who are undergoing this spiritual awakening process, which is to remember who you are. You're a creator. That's what you are. You're a creator, just like God. Source. Again, the whole entire universe, massive universe, it's just full of stuff. There's stuff everywhere, things everywhere. There's so much stuff that God created. And remember, your true nature is at your very core. You're a tiny little piece of that. You're a tiny little piece of the creator. You're a creator. That's your true nature. You are unlimited. Abundance is your birthright. Abundance is what you are. You're literally made of the stuff of the universe. Like getting this ring for Christmas, my Christmas present, this ain't shit, guys. You can do it, and you should. I think everybody in the world should have a ring like this, right? So our job as the spiritual community, as it were, may be to do the 3D things, the doing, the actions. Maybe there will be some of that for us. But I believe primarily what the talent that we bring to the table as people who are going through this awakening process, I believe the talent that we bring to the table is our energetic abilities. Think of yourself as a fountain that just is spewing water, just massive amounts of water, just overflow. Your cup overfloweth, and you're just spewing water all day long, just all this abundance, all this energy of consciousness out into the 3D plane. That's what you came here to do. And guys, if you do that, you're going to attract abundance to yourself. You're going to get to enjoy that. And we're going to set an example to the world for what's possible. That's what I believe we're here to do. And that's what I want to do over here. And I'm even going to integrate some of those things onto my YouTube channel at some point. I believe I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold, kind of group meditations and talks about possibilities. And guys, we've got all the technology to create a technologically advanced world where there's no suffering, there's no poverty, there's no severe illnesses. And if there are, then people can be healed from them. Everybody's enjoying abundance, and it's a technologically advanced civilization, spacefaring civilization. Everybody's got a nice house to live in, and it can be done in perfect harmony with the environment. And the technology already exists, but there are people that are hiding it from us. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about over here during this kind of setup phase. Now, a couple of quick housekeeping things. Everybody say hello to my moderator, Annie. She is here on a volunteer basis to assist me on assisting you guys. So everybody say thank you. Hit the like button for Annie. Hit the like button for Miss Annie. She's very gracious for helping us out. Thank you, Annie. Also, I do have this sale going on right now. If you want to manifest your dream life and be part of the solution on planet Earth, and all you got to do is show up and start manifesting your dream life and setting a good example for everybody else. And when people see you succeeding, they're going to want to know, how did you do that? You see how that works? So change your life, guys. Change your life. I do have this sale going on right now through May 31st, 25% off when you pay in full for either of my coaching programs, the Introduction to the Journey for Twin Flames or Manifest Your Dream Life for the Law of Attraction. Just put this coupon code SPRING and get 25% off just like that. It's going on through May 31st. The Manifest Your Dream Life video course is 26 hours, and a year after you start watching the videos, we unlock tier 2. There's more videos after that. So I give you a year to kind of get situated and kind of start on the core teachings. And then you don't have to give me more money. It's not more money. You already paid for this. A year later, we unlock level 2. And there's group coaching calls. There's a Facebook community. I'm going to start rolling out law of attraction success stories. I've already signed up 500 people in my law of attraction manifest your dream life coaching program. And we just started not even a full year ago yet. It's been 11 months. Guys, that's amazing. And there's people every day having breakthroughs in there. You're a creator. You're powerful. And I'm going to give you everything you need. And then some. And then some. And I spend a good portion of time explaining, no, this is real. I go way deep into the science of it. It's worth the money. And by the way, if you can't afford the prices, which are already very affordable, I don't charge thousands of dollars, guys, even with the coupon code. If you still can't swing it, no problem. I have payment plans. You can get started for $69. I think it's $69. It's like 6 payments, and that's it. And you get access to the videos with your first payment. What do you got to lose? Nothing. Nothing at all. And we got a full-time customer service department. I've got coaches assisting me. You get into the Facebook community. You don't even have to use your real name. We don't care. You can use an alias if you want anonymity. No problem, right? Get in the Facebook community and you can ask us your questions. You can make connections with other people in the community. And guys, it works. And this is the classical law of attraction teachings, the proven methodologies. It's not going to be because you guys, those of you that are new to my channel, this is what I'm all about. I'm all about giving you proven methodologies that work, that are rooted in real science. Like you see some people, some spiritual teachers on the internet sometimes, some guru, right? And he starts telling you things and you're like, well, where are you getting this information from? And you can't figure out, like, is this rooted in some concrete scientific theory? Right? And they just, oh, I channeled it or something, right? And there's like a million of these kind of run-of-the-mill spiritual teachers. And I'm not trying to put anybody down, but there's a whole bunch of them on YouTube. And they've got all these kind of gimmicky looking techniques and stuff. And even the good techniques that I show you on my YouTube channel, they do work. But I actually take the time to sit down with you. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but on my YouTube videos, I take the time to explain why it works. Isn't that nice? And I'm not saying any of this stuff to brag, guys. I'm not even saying this stuff to sell myself. You need to understand this stuff. We need to have a conversation about this stuff. Okay, some people, Kurt's really arrogant when he starts talking like that. No, I'm not. I'll tell you what, if you think I'm arrogant for having this conversation, you're foolish. And I'm not sorry. And that's not just name calling. Straight up, guys. Straight up. There's a lot of people out there who are well-meaning, but they don't know what they're doing. And they don't know why things work the way they do. And it's not your problem. It's not your problem. God bless their heart. I really hope they're able to figure out. I try to get through to these people every day, the New Agers and this kind of thing. But guys, just, that's all that needs to be said. Just God bless their heart. I'm going to go over here and do my thing instead. I want to do something that really works. And guys, we already know how the law of attraction works. This is ancient. Ancient Hermetic philosophy predates Egypt by thousands of years. We already know this stuff, and science is just catching up to these teachings that the elites have been hiding for thousands of years. The masters, the spiritual masters who are amazing magicians of reality, they've been teaching this stuff for a long time. This information is already out there. And this is what I bring to the table with my law of attraction program and even my free stuff on my YouTube channel. You can just sit there and watch my free stuff for a while. Now, you're probably going to want more. And of course, I don't give you everything because that's not fair to my paying customers. But 26-hour-long video course, guys. I got a whole bunch of free stuff on my YouTube channel. I got the Rumble channel. I got these lives. I'm always spending 2.5 hours with you guys every week. Also, by the way, I've got super chats turned on. The little $sign down below in the chat box. If you'd like to ask me a question. So that's the deal, guys. We know how to do this stuff. This is proven technology. How to remember that you're a creator. How do I do that? And there's people that have been doing this for a long, 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 long time. Long time, guys. And I'm happy to bring that to the table. And again, make the connection. Like, why does this work? What if you look at me and you're like, I don't know who you are. You're just another guy on the internet. Yeah, you're right. I am just another guy on the internet. Why should you believe me? Well, pretty soon, again, I'm going to start rolling out law of attraction success stories. You guys know I'm all about the twin flame success stories. I've coached 6,000 twin flames, and it's just every day somebody, my twin flame came back. Oh my God, they unblocked me, right? Every day. And I've got the same kind of situation going with my law of attraction program now. I've been doing it for almost a year. Why? Does that prove I know what I'm doing? Well, I guess so. But what I would tell you is listen to the things that I say about the law of attraction. When I teach this stuff to you, it doesn't take you very long to get the sense that what I'm teaching you is rooted in something concrete. And again, I'm not saying this stuff to say that I'm better than anybody else. That's not what this is. But guys, again, you got here's an analogy that I've been using lately. I once hired a handyman who he showed up to my house. He had a nice pickup truck. By the way, everybody, say hello to Shannon, one soul. Wonderful person. Another one of my volunteer moderators. Hit the like button for one soul, everybody. She's a wonderful person. And, she's benefited greatly from these teachings. It's the information. And by the way, one soul, why don't you go ahead and just type quickly, if you'd like, in the chat. So what she's saying is, I'll give you a manifesting success story. Do it. Let's hear it. And I'll read it aloud. Happens all the time. Happens every day in my Law of Attraction program, guys. This really does work. Yeah, I'd like you to buy my services. Yes, I do want you to do that. Right? And again, this is the guilt and shame around money. Oh, he's just trying to sell stuff. You're gosh darn right I'm trying to sell stuff. You should try selling stuff. Everybody should try it. But additionally, I want to show you guys it works. It works. It works. Yes, the law of attraction is real. Get excited about that. Okay, back to my analogy. So there's kind of two types of people that are going to get in your way, and they kind of stand between you and abundance or a better job or a relationship, not your twin flame. You don't use law of attraction techniques on your twin flame. It backfires. All you need is the core of spiritualism, the Zen component, which is the main component of spirit. It is spiritual, right? Remember who you are. You are consciousness. It just so happens that after a while, you go, wait, I'm a creator too. Consciousness is the creative force. And then you'll end up, trust me, every single one of you that's a twin flame person, you'll end up here. You'll end up in a place where you're going, wait a minute, I'm causing all this, right? Well, anyway, there's kind of two types of people that spew information out there. There's this kind of cultural conditioning around money, right? All the guilt and shame around money. And the first group, it's easy to understand who they are because they're the evildoers, the wolf in sheep's clothing, like the bad guys that run Earth, or they think they run Earth. I don't think they run Earth anymore. I think those days are gone. They're like desperately clinging to the little bit of control they think they still have, but it's over, guys. It's over. For the elite, it's over. And it's obvious, it's clear that it's over. Well, anyway, that's the first group of people, and they often will disguise themselves as a good guy, as a nice person. They just want to help you. And then when you look at what they say, when you look at the things they say, you're like, wait a minute, excuse me. You're like, wait a minute. This is deception. Right. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay. The second group of people are more often than not, and almost every time, it's your average everyday person, right? It's your average everyday person, even people who are part of the general spiritual community. The guilt and shame around money and abundance is so embedded in the human psyche now. Everybody's doing it, and they don't quite realize they're doing it. And I'll even show you an example of what I'm talking about. Even I still have some of that shame embedded, and I still have to overcome it every day. And that's one of the things that I teach you in my manifesting course is you don't get rid of the fear. You don't really get rid of the lack mentality. You just have to learn how to overcome it every day. And you get so good at that, it's just automatic. And then you start making money and it's all good, right? Well, anyway, Mary Poppins, thank you. Yes, I'll answer your question in just a few moments. So, these people are well-meaning, right? You got to watch out for these guys. Well-meaning people, even in the general spiritual community. And here's my analogy. This is why we need to talk about this, guys. I'm not out to get anybody, but we need to be adults here and think about things in an adult way and recognize, yeah, this is how the world works. So here's my analogy. I once hired a handyman to do a few odd jobs around my house. He shows up in a nice pickup truck. He's dressed nicely, and I don't mean dress clothes like this, but, you know, work clothes, but they weren't all torn up. They were like nice new clothes, and, you know, he was like nicely groomed, and he had a nice tool belt and lots of tools, and he was a very nice man. And when I saw him get to work, he legitimately seemed like he really wanted to do a good job, right? That's all good stuff right there, right? Okay. Now, by the middle of the second day, I was like, oh no. Oh no. I don't think this guy knows what he's doing, dude. Because he like put this towel bar on in my bathroom, like all crooked. And he like put a bunch of extra holes in the wall and didn't fix them, and he broke some other things, and I was like, yeah, maybe this guy used to be a something else. Maybe he was a car salesman or a IT professional, and he just decided I could be a handyman. You know, some people do that. I have no idea. But by the middle of the second day, I was like, hey, thanks for everything. Here's your money. I'm all set. Thank you so very much. And he was like, oh, okay, well, thanks. I thought we had some other things that you wanted done as well. And I was like, yeah, I wanted to do those things too, but I'm out of money, and I'll just let you know when I'm ready to get those other things done. And he even goes, oh, okay, well, let me finish this one thing. And I was like, no, that's okay. It'll be fine for when you come back. And I sent him on his way. And I had to hire somebody else to fix all the stuff he broke and to do all the other things. And I felt kind of bad because he was a nice guy and stuff. But okay, so you guys get it, right? There's a lot of people in the general spiritual community who are going to give you bad advice. And I've talked about that many times, like spiritual bypassers and all the healing and all this kind of stuff. I'm always telling you guys, like, wait, this shadow work, you know, stuff like that. It's quack psychology. It's not, it doesn't, like the mind does not even work the way they say it works. Like when they tell you, like you'll hear them say catchphrases like, oh, I'm having a bad time, and it's just some stuff that's coming up to be healed. How many times have you heard somebody say that in the spiritual community? Like what I just said, I'm having a bad time, but it's just all this childhood stuff that's coming up to be healed. How many times have you heard somebody say something along those lines in the spiritual community? Right, a lot. That's right. Like every day. And these spiritual gurus on YouTube are a dime a dozen. And when you talk to a psychologist, which again, a psychologist or a psychiatrist, those are the legitimate psychological practices which are rooted in peer-reviewed empirical science. And psychology and psychiatry, generally speaking, they are soft sciences. Science isn't perfect, but the object is, to find hard evidence that's reliable, right? And psychology and psychiatry tend to be so reliable that whatever a psychologist or a psychiatrist says about somebody, they do talk therapy with a person for long enough. Whatever they have to say about their person is admissible in a court of law. They can diagnose somebody even. A therapist cannot do that. And in Canada, and I don't know what the laws are in the United States, it's probably pretty similar, but you get fined $5,000 a day if you tell people you're a psychologist, right? And this is kind of what I've learned about these technologies, this mental health science of psychology and psychiatry. And, talking to a psychologist, you find out the mind doesn't work. It just does not function the way that these New Agers explain it to you. I just have some things that are coming up to be healed. It doesn't work that way, because the way that they treat it is it's like it's a container and you got to purge it all out of all the bad stuff. It's like bloodletting. You remember bloodletting like 200-300 years ago, where they would bleed the person to death to try to purge the disease out. That's quack medical science. And here's the supreme irony about all the New Agers preaching all the healing stuff. In addition to what it is they're telling you, it doesn't work. It actually makes things worse. In addition to that, what it is that they're telling you, it's not spiritualism. The conversation they're having with you about healing and purging, that's not spiritualism. It's quack psychology. It's psychology, and it's bad psychology. It's not even spiritual. Dope. Like Homer Simpson, right? Dope. And again, I'm not out to get anybody, guys. That's not why I'm having this discussion with you. We just need to be aware of this. We need to have an adult conversation about this kind of stuff. It's like the handyman that came to my house. Great people, but I don't think they know what they're doing. I'm good. Okay, learn how this stuff does work, guys. It's very important. It's very important to have this discussion. Now that we've kind of set that stage, let's talk about the guilt and shame around money and abundance. By the way, Mary Poppins, I did not see your question. I saw the super chat. I'm looking back and I don't see your question. So if you want to post it, I'll pause and I'll go ahead and answer your question. Again, guys, I do have super chats turned on if you'd like to ask a question. Okay. So I started this live today explaining that abundance is your natural state. Even in the general spiritual community, everybody acknowledges that you are a tiny little piece of the source. An analogy that I've often heard to describe your relationship to the all, also called God. Think of your relationship to God like you're a wave in the ocean. The wave comes and goes. The wave comes and goes. And yes, the way that it literally works is you're a fractal. How about that? The soul is a holographic reproduction. That's the word. The soul is a holographic reproduction of the all, God. It's a fractal. It's a piece of the whole. WHOLE. And again, just to look at the visible universe, never mind what's beyond what we can see, which is probably substantial, probably just the visible universe. Probably just the visible universe. I mean, we don't know. This is complete completely hypothetical, but it's very possible that the visible universe is like a little tiny speck compared to the whole entire universe. So the universe is just jam-packed with stuff, guys. Things, objects. It's just teeming with things, life. There's so many stars in the universe. Did you know that stars are like little atom factories? So you guys remember from like chemistry, from science in high school even, where they showed you the periodic table of the elements, right? And two of the base elements in the periodic table of elements are gold and silver, which are some of the most valuable things on Earth, right? And they're relatively scarce. I found out that, how much gold there is in the whole world that we know of? We're pretty sure the amount of gold in existence is enough to fill 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And when you look at a couple of Olympic-sized swimming pools next to each other on a satellite photo from space, you know what you're looking at? Well, you're looking at the Earth, but you don't see the Olympic-sized swimming pools, do you? Because they're so small compared to the whole rest of the Earth. And all the gold in the world fits in those 2 little specks. Wow. Gold is very scarce. And you might fact check me on that and find a different number than the one I just told you. But, this comes from, there's like an investment company that sells gold and stuff. And they kind of broke it down one time. And I was like, whoa, I knew that gold was scarce, but that's, wow. There ain't shit on Earth. How about that? Now, every single component, every single compound on the periodic table of elements was made in an ancient star billions of years ago. Think about that. A star that lived, ran out of nuclear fuel, burned out, and went supernova and exploded. Stars are atom-creating machines. All the iron, and what's interesting, there's plenty of iron on Earth. You manifested no power outages for 3. That's hilarious. Good job. I actually manifested fair weather yesterday. I just had my car detailed, and we wanted to go out to dinner, and some weather was kind of rolling in, and I was like, no, I just got it detailed today. But it was like the clouds kind of like parted wherever I was. It was very interesting. And I drove like over an hour away to go to this special restaurant. And then as soon as I got home, it starts raining. Very interesting. Anyway, when a star starts to develop iron, like the second a star starts to produce iron, the star goes supernova. It's like iron is toxic or something to a star, but it does produce some iron. It does do that, right? And when you consider how massive a star is, even if the star only produces iron for a few moments, a star is so massive compared to like planet Earth that it produces a bunch of iron compared to planet Earth. It's kind of a lot still, you know. It's enough for there to be iron embedded everywhere on a single planet somewhere, right? I mean, that's how much stuff there is in the universe. Even when a star can only produce iron for a few moments, it's still kind of a lot. Wow. And there's a lot of iron all over the earth. There's lots of it. Very interesting. So what I'm telling you is the universe is a big abundance machine, just cranking out stuff all day long. And remember, you were created in the image and likeness of the Creator, which means you're a creator. So where did this cultural myth come from that money is bad? Again, I'm going to address that. It's inevitable. At some point in the next month or two, I'll make a video specifically about that question. Right over here, if you're not looking at your screen right now, look at your screen real quick. Find me over here, New World All-Star. All-Star is one word. ALLSTAR, All-Star, New World All-Star. Check me out over here. Now, that aside, let me give you an example of how the cultural myth, the guilt and shame around money manifests within you. Miller, have a wonderful week, my friend. Come back and watch the rest. I'm sure you will. Let me give you an example. So let's say you start a business, and I went through this when I started my business, right? And I've been trying for 20 plus years to start a business. And, you know, I finally got one to work, which is what I'm currently doing. And by the way, entrepreneurial tip. Whatever business you pick something you love doing. Pick something you're passionate about. Because it's like you don't even need to really focus on the money. If you focus on helping people, the money will follow. That's a winning formula. Everybody benefits. And I've had some of the most successful people in the world tell me that. One such person was Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn. R-O-H-N. Jim Rohn. Check him out. Write that down. Jim Rohn. R-O-H-N. Really great guy. I got to meet him once. Well, anyway, he's got lots of videos on YouTube. There's lots of clips of him talking. Well, anyway, let's say you start a business and you got a product or a service, and one day you finally get your first sale. So this is an example of how the guilt and shame is embedded, and it's embedded in your subconscious. Okay? So you get your first sale, your first customer, you give them their items, they hand you the money. So you're there in person, they put money in your hand, they put some cash in your hand. Now, you know you've got a good product, you worked really hard to make the best product, you did everything you could to help this person. They see that what you're doing for them has value. and you're giving them something of value, and you really are. You're like, you worked really hard, you planned it all out, you did everything you could to help this person. That's very valuable. And they go, wow, that's valuable. I'll purchase that from you. So they give you something of value in exchange. Money. I give you something of value, you give me something of value. It's a trade, right? Okay. So, you know you did everything right. Nonetheless, the moment they put the money in your hand, you ever notice how, like, say, even if you've had like a garage sale or something, and you're asking $10 for something, and they go, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll get it. And the person's looking at it, and you know it's worth $10. You're like, I don't know, I'm not going to offer them a deal, right? You're like, I'm not going to say, oh, just give me $5, because it's probably worth $20, and it's already $10. Somebody else will pay $10 for it. It's fine. Just leave it. Somebody else will come later, right? No, you maybe feel this shame. Like, oh, I don't want to take all their money. That's not nice to take money. Oh, just take $5 for it. You still do that. Or you stop yourself before you say it. And you go, wait, no, it's really worth $20. And I'm only asking 10. So I'm just going to. Or, again, back to the business person. You start a business. You get your first customer. You did everything right. And when they hand you the money, do you go in the back of your head, oh, maybe I should just charge them half? Right? One soul, have a wonderful day. Go take care of your kiddo. Well wishes. I hope she feels better soon. I have faith that she will. She's got a good mama. So, the moment they put the money in your hand, do you start to have these kinds of thoughts? Most people do. You guys, think about it. You did everything right. You're not charging exorbitant prices either. You're doing everything ethically, right? You're charging a good price. It's a good product. And when they put the money in your hand, do you get that little bit of skittish feeling like, oh, should I be doing this? You feel this emotion of doubt, of shame, of guilt. You could even in your head, in your mind, your conscious mind, you're saying to yourself, I know I'm doing everything right and I know I'm good. So why do I still have this emotion? Because that's your subconscious mind. See how that works? The cultural myth about money is embedded in our subconscious psyche, and it comes out in our habits. Irony, the irony. Oh, why did I do this, guys? A year ago, when I launched my Manifest Your Dream Life video course, The Ultimate Irony, I said, I'm only going to charge $100 less. I'm going to charge $100 less across the board than I do for my existing twin flame coaching. And about 9 months later, I caught myself and I was like, wait, oh, Kurt. And it's for my law of attraction teaching. And again, everybody watches the video course and they're like, fuck, this is amazing. And then they go out and they start applying what I teach them in the video course, and it works. It works. People are having breakthroughs left and right. And I know I'm teaching the classical law of attraction teachings. Again, not the new agey, fruity loop, run-of-the-mill stuff, the kind of gimmicky stuff that you see all over YouTube, for example. And again, I'm not trying to put anybody down. It's the internet. It's like that. No, I'm giving you the concrete teachings, and I even go the extra mile, and I'm going to show you why these are the concrete teachings. The first 5 hours of the video course is I'm talking about the science. So I make the connections between the philosophy and even what physics is doing. And again, for anybody that's just joining, I bought this for myself for Christmas, and I decided to wear it on today's live stream to make a point about abundance. I never wear this ring. Sometimes I've done it. I've caught myself like a couple of times wearing it on my YouTube videos, but I usually don't, because again, people have all this guilt and shame around money. And they go, yeah, that Kurt guy, he just wants money. Yeah, I do want money, but I don't just want money. And by the way, I'm doing everything I can to help people. So give me a break. And again, you can do it. Can you imagine how much better the world would be if everybody had $10 million? Eckhart Tolle is worth like $50 million. Did you know that? I think he's worth $50 million. I think he should have $50 million. And so should you. If everybody in the world had $50 million, can you imagine how amazing the world would be? There would be less crime, less poverty, obviously, disease, famine, anything you want to talk about, war. And we could live in a highly technologically advanced civilization that is actually living in harmony with the environment. And again, the people who think they run the world, I'm going to be talking about this over here, they hide the already existing clean energy technologies from us. And I'm not talking about solar and wind. Solar and wind are okay. You can't really satisfy the world's electricity needs with solar and wind. It's not really that effective. Solar is not really viable. And by the way, the amount of energy it takes to produce a solar panel is, you wouldn't believe it. Like, it's just a narrative. It's just a ruse. Solar and wind. Meanwhile, these large energy companies are hiding thorium technologies from us. Wait, thorium? What's that? Right. And if you go on Google and type in thorium reactor, you're going to get a whole bunch of lies because it's Google. They're going to tell you, they're only going to show you people who are saying how thorium doesn't work and it's too hard and a blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Bullshit. They already know how to get that stuff to work, guys. When I was growing up in rural Colorado, I lived kind of in the northern parts of Colorado when I was growing up. There was an experimental thorium reactor. And yeah, they had problems with it, but it's not anything that they can't work out, guys. Engineers are amazing. They can do just about fucking anything, engineers. They can figure it out, and they probably already have. They got automobile engines that can run for like 1,000,000 miles and get like 150 miles to the gallon. Really? How come we don't get those? How come I don't get to own that kind of car? Right. Why? Why is it that when you go to the store these days, all they have for sale is a bunch of plastic garbage that wears out? Why is it that the food supply is tainted with genetically modified foods, and then they tell you that they're safe? And then years later, it comes out, oh, it's not safe. It causes cancer or whatever. Have you guys seen the glyphosate ads? The class action lawsuit? You could be entitled to a settlement. Have you seen those TV commercials on TV lately? Because I have. And they've been telling us for decades, glyphosate is safe. They said that about cigarettes. They said that about DDT. Anyway, again, there's the bad guys who are actually trying to deceive you. And they give you all this guilt and shame around money. And then they make up excuses and they tell you, oh, it's going to hurt the environment if we have abundance. No, it's not. You're just not doing it right. We already have all these technologies. They just don't want you to have it because there's an agenda. Again, go over here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this on here, on this platform. But then there's the second group of people, which again are well-meaning, like the Handyman. And they just kind of don't know what they're doing. And they even believe the lies. Well, that's just the way the world is, guys. But guess what? You don't have to. And you can even try, again, to be a good example of what to do. You can set a good example for the well-meaning but misguided people who, at the end of the day, they just want to do the right thing. That's what they want. They bought into the lie is all. So guys, abundance is everywhere. And it's what you are. Your natural state is you're a creator. You're unlimited. That's your natural state. You are unlimited. You're unlimited. And you're capable of manifesting incredible things, guys. You can. And it's your birthright. You deserve it. The thumbnail for today's live stream is you get what you deserve. You don't get what you want. You don't get what you think you want. And you don't get what you say you want. You get what you deserve. Do you deserve abundance? And there's two ways to sabotage your ability to manifest money. Number one, to feel undeserving. To feel undeserving, to feel unworthy, to buy into the cultural myth which perpetuates guilt and shame around money, which again, I think was put there by a certain group of people. Come over here and I'll tell you who those people are. And then there's the well-meaning but misguided public who they bought into it. So, to feel undeserving is part of that cultural narrative. Okay, and again, I think that came from a certain place. But here's the other thing. Even you watching, you recognize that, yeah, that is a myth. I do deserve it. And again, I just explained the whole song and dance about how the universe is just a giant abundance machine, just always just spewing things, just all the time creating things, just all the time generating new things. Stars are atom generators that just creating all this abundance. That's all the universe does. So what's the problem? Why do we believe in these things that we're not deserving? Again, the cultural myth, I think it came from, the people who think they run the world, right? and it's been there for thousands of years. But in addition to that, to be deserving, once you get past all that cultural conditioning about money and how money is bad, and again, the example of when you have your first transaction, you start a business, and you know you did everything right, you know you did everything ethically, and the person puts the money in your hand, even though up here, conceptually, you're going, I know this is right. I know that I'm doing a good job. Do you feel kind of like skittish? You feel a little bit of that like guilt and shame. You feel an emotional narrative. Because there's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is primarily emotional. And you feel like, should I take this money? That's how you feel. You feel that. Like, ooh, maybe I should ask for less, right? Okay. It's because you don't think you deserve it. Now, consciously, you know you do deserve it. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're going to flip the script. Because you get what you deserve. Do you deserve money? So again, one more time, we just got through all the guilt and shame, the cultural myth about money that tells you that you inherently are bad and you don't deserve money. And we recognize that that is false, that is incorrect, for all of the reasons that we've previously stated. How do you feel like you deserve money? Because remember, your subconscious mind is hardwired into the field, the mental universe. And that's right out of ancient Hermetic philosophy, too. The divine matrix. Greg Braden calls it the divine matrix. Science calls it the field. And they just discovered the Higgs field. And then you've got dark energy, right? The vacuum of space. The space is in between the matter, right? There's something going on there, right? It's information, this field, this matrix. It's the mind of God. God is constructed the same way you are. Body, mind, soul. Body, mind, soul. There's physical matter in the universe, body. There's the mental universe, the vacuum. It's a matrix. It's metaphysical. That's just like your mind. And then soul is the source. Body, mind, soul. So God, the all, is constructed the same way you are. You're a creator. So your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, which again is primarily emotional. You can tell what your subconscious mind is doing and believing. You can tell what kind of programming you have in your subconscious mind based on how you feel. Your subconscious mind is hardwired into the mental universe. I just gave you the secret for free right here on New World All-Star. Free! I'm always giving you guys the ancient secrets, and I explain how these things work. Do I deserve money? You bet. I'm up here and I'm doing a good job. And I know I am. And I'm highly motivated to help everybody. And I don't know how, and I don't need to know how. We're going to talk about that. But somehow money keeps showing up. I've got 3 employees. 3. How about that? That's cool, man. And you might not want to do something like this. It's a different way of life. You might just want like a nice career, and that's great. And you can do that too. Maybe manifest winning the lottery. You can do that. I'm just saying. Why? Because I recognize that I deserve money. Ever since I started doing this in earnest 5 years ago, in earnest, I've always known about this. Long time I've looked at this kind of stuff. But 5 years ago, when my forced awakening took place, I said, fuck it. I'm going full blast. I'm really going to do it. And just within this short time, 5 years, guys, everything has changed. My world is completely different, and I feel different at the subconscious level. My emotional response is different. My unconscious habits, my reactive habits are things that serve me. Reacting isn't necessarily bad. There's another myth. But what kinds of reactions are you having? There's being creative and there's being reactive, and the subconscious mind is reactive. You, the consciousness, the soul, are creative. The body and the mind, reactive. The soul, creative. Notice how those words are kind of similar. I don't think that's an accident. So, subconsciously, emotionally, I feel deserving of abundance, of money. And it kind of just keeps showing up. I don't even have to do anything sometimes. It's just there all the time. There's money coming to me from every place. You get what you deserve, guys. And it shows. It shows. Look at the things that I do. This is what I'm talking about. And remember, and this is something that the first time I ever heard this, it was Jim Rohn. And as soon as he said these words, I was like, yes. He said, don't focus on getting the money. Focus on helping people. If you focus on helping people, the money will follow. It'll come. Don't be foolish. Don't be a sucker. Don't buy into the guilt and shame around money. When somebody comes along and says, here's some money, take the money. Even if it doesn't feel right. Because it doesn't feel right, that's part of the programming. You feel guilt and shame. If it really, so I'm not talking about intuition, because you always hear spiritual people say stuff like that. Oh, it just doesn't feel right. I just don't recall seeing your question. I don't see it in the chat stream. I don't know. There could be YouTube filters turned on. I don't know if you are typing a word that's not allowed. This word is not allowed. So, I don't know. Maybe try restating your question. I feel deserving of the money. I have a friend who he sells these little shoehorns that you stick in your wallet. They're pretty handy. I use them. They're so good. I use them. Mary Poppins, I have seen that website around. I've been to it a few times. I don't remember much about it. I mean, I saw like some interesting scholarly articles posted on there that were interesting to read. I don't really know who is behind that website. I don't know if it's a ruse, if it's legitimate. I don't know. But I have seen like a couple of articles, a couple of stories, a couple of pieces of information that have been on that website referenced in other places. So no, I don't know anything about it. Why? Do you have a specific question about something that's on there, on that website? Maybe I can answer for you. Well, anyway, guys, my friend who started this company, I broke one of the shoehorns. They're like kind of like credit card sized. And I broke it, and I went to him and I said, hey, I broke mine. Can I buy a couple more? And he said, oh, I'll just give you some. And I go, dude, you're trying to start a business. If somebody offers you money, never refuse it. Never refuse it. Never refuse it. Now, never say never, right? Maybe there's a time when it's like, ooh, yeah, no, that's, not this time, right? But this is a pretty obvious one. Dude, I'm trying to buy your product from you. Take my money. And he goes, oh, yeah, you're right. Right? So he sold me. I gave him money. And he caught himself when I pointed that out. Right? Annie, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And we at New World All-Star, we've had situations like that. And we work with people sometimes. Mary Poppin, thanks for the tip. I'll look and see. I'll check it out. Now that you've asked, now you got me wondering, yeah, what's up with that website, right? So I'll check it out. Well, anyway, guys, when you'll hear like spiritual people, they'll say things, for example, like the healing stuff, like, oh, I've just got some stuff that's coming up to be healed. And that's not even how the mind works. And on top of that, the supreme irony is that's not spiritualism. That's psychology. And it's not even legitimate psychology. Or another thing that you might hear them say, another example is, oh, it just didn't feel right. And that's their whole reason. Oh, I was guided to do this. And they're doing some limiting thing that keeps them stuck in a lack mindset, right? It just didn't feel right. Oh, I was guided to do it. Now, when you're running a legitimate business and you're making your first legitimate transaction, you're doing everything you can to help the person. You're doing everything ethically. You're not charging rip-off prices. You're giving them a really good product or service. And you get your first sale and they put the money in your hand. You feel guilt and shame. So we just talked about that. Do you go, oh, it didn't feel right, so I just told them not to pay me? It just didn't feel right. I was guided. That's that new agey stuff, guys. That's not what intuition is. Guilt and shame is not intuition. Guilt and shame is not intuition. If you shouldn't be taking money from somebody for some reason, first of all, it's going to be pretty rare. It's not zero. And I can tell you from experience, like I've got over 6,000 customers. I've had situations like that, right? And we do the right thing. It's not guilt and shame. You just look at it and you're like, oh yeah, no, that's not, we can't do that. We can't take advantage of this person. Let's just, you know what I mean? You'll know. It's wisdom, guys. It's wisdom. It doesn't feel like guilt and shame. You just look at the situation and you're like, I don't think this is ethical. I don't think we should be charging money this time. You know what I mean? You may encounter situations like that, but it's really rare, guys. It will happen at some point. If you start a business, you will be faced with situations like that. for the overwhelming majority of instances, yes, correct. Annie, discernment. That's right. Intuition, wisdom, discernment. Amen. Amen. I'm always talking about discernment. It's not judgment, it's discernment, right? Again, like even like the healing stuff, people, oh, Kurt's judgmental. No, I'm not. It's discernment. Anyway, you deserve abundance. Your natural state is you're unlimited. You're a creator. That's like one of the first things I teach you after the science portion, of the Manifest Your Dream Life program that I offer. So I've spent 5 years kind of deprogramming the guilt and shame that I even had around money. Because when people would pay me, I was like, oh, should I be charging money? I didn't say that. That's not what I was thinking. What I was thinking was, I know that I've been programmed and I need to deprogram. Yes, I should be charging money. So that's my conscious mind. But the emotion that I felt from the subconscious mind was, oh, should I be doing this? Like guilt, like shame. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. You use the conscious mind to slowly over time reprogram the subconscious mind. And again, the subconscious mind is linked directly in to the mental universe. Think of your subconscious mind as an internet modem or a cable television box. The modem or the cable box has a cable, has a wire, and you plug it into the wall. And the wall is connected to a whole huge network. Right. Huh. Jay Agata, thank you for your donation. Very kind. So the whole huge network in this analogy is the mental universe. The cable box or internet modem is your subconscious mind. You are directly linked into that at the level of the subconscious mind. And the mental universe, again, the vacuum, the field, the divine matrix, whatever you want to call it, the mental universe, the spaces in between matter, the vacuum, it's mental. It's the mind of God, literally. That plane, Plane, that plane, that energetic plane, is where things are created. Have you ever heard, and I'm sure everybody watching has heard people describe how before things manifest in the 3D physical, they happen on the spiritual plane first. They happen energetically first. And that is absolutely true. And when you get an intuitive hit, let's just say, about something that you're going to manifest, that's a description of having it show up on the energetic plane. And when you get that kind of feedback from the universe, it's done. It's done. It's going to show up in the 3D. Absolutely will. Jay Agata, what's the best route to get a small business loan or grant? Tell you what, let me put a little bit of thought into that. I got to take a quick break. I really got to go to the bathroom. I've been holding it for like 20 minutes. I drink a lot of water. So I'm going to take 5 quick minutes. You guys go do the same. Go hit the bathroom real quick. Go grab something to eat, whatever. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then Jay Agata, I will come back and answer your question. I'll spend the next 5 minutes kind of thinking about the best way to answer that question. I do believe I have some pretty good suggestions for you as a business person and somebody who knows a lot about money and finance, which is something we're going to talk about in this live stream today. So Jay Agata, I'll be back in 5 minutes and then I'll address your question. I'll be right back, you guys. All right. All right. I'm back. So, Jay Agata. I need a little bit more information from you. I hope you're comfortable answering some of these questions. I'll just try to be generic. What kind of business? Are you selling a physical good, or is it intellectual? Like, I have my video e-courses that I offer, the teachings that I offer. Is it a physical good, a physical in-person service? Is it consulting? Is it e-courses? What is it? Hmm. 80 to 90% of your manifesting game is your Zen game. Okay. Jay Agata, are you offering a physical good or an in-person service? Or is it like intellectual, like an e-course like I sell? I don't know, maybe Jay Agata is away. She's AFK, away from, okay, massage therapy, very good. That's actually a great idea. I know people that do that, and they make pretty gosh darn good money doing that stuff. And the investment to get started is pretty reasonable. It's like a massage table and some fixtures, decorations, like a couple of pieces of furniture to like make the room nice, and maybe invest some money in some basic advertising and stuff like that. So I think if you execute that properly, if you're wise with how you move things along and promote yourself too, you also persevere, you don't give up. Those, from what I have heard, massage therapy, it can be pretty good. It can be very lucrative. Okay, so you want to start a massage therapy practice, and you want to know the best way to get a business loan. All right. It's going to depend on, obviously, like what your credit is. Let's see. I'm afraid to start my own, getting new clientele. I have all the stuff, basically like spending the money and to rent the space, then not having clients right away. Right. So, the best way, honestly, do it in your home. Do it in your home. If you rent, let's say, an apartment, get a 2-bedroom apartment. Now, you can start right now and set it up maybe in your living room. And that's kind of a bummer because you don't have your living room anymore. But if you can just get 10 clients, that'll bring some cash flow in so that you can start to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. So I'm just putting that out there. But to borrow money, okay, what part of the world do you live in, by the way? Do you live in the United States, Canada, Europe? Do you live in South America, India? Where do you live? Where do you live? Jay Agata. Seattle, okay. And Annie, I've heard, yeah, so Jay Agata, listen to what Annie is saying, her last couple of messages. She might be right about that. I've heard that. You might not be able to do it in your house. In some places, they don't let you do that. But yeah, if you can find a place to do it, like at a resort or a hotel or something like that, or they got the Whole Foods here in my neighborhood. They have a person in-house that does it. So see what you can do. Now, in the United States, you know, you got to have like a decent credit score, at least like 600 to get anything. So even, I mean, and that's not a great credit score. So even if your credit is just okay, you should still be able to get money from someplace. So there's kind of 2 avenues that you can go. There's actually 3. There's 3 avenues that you can go. Okay. So the first one is find somebody to lend you the money. And I mean, like, really go out there. Yeah, Whole Foods has a massage therapist on site. There's one at the library, downtown Denver. Most office buildings, there's somebody there on site, and all the workers that work at the office building, they, you know. Now, so again, so there's 3 avenues, Jay Agata. The first one is find somebody to borrow money from, and you can even, like, let's say you need $10,000, or even, how can I start my business with just half of what I think I need? So you might be thinking, I need $10,000. Can you do it with 5? Is there a way you can do that? Figure it out. Start thinking. Start to get creative. Instead of just, this is something I learned from Robert Kiyosaki. Right? He's got a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Every single one of you watching should read it, even if you don't want to start a business. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he said, instead of saying, I can't do it, say, how can I do it? How can I do it? Well, I can't. You're not listening. There's just no way to do it. No. Get out of that mindset. And instead say, well, how can I do that? If I could only spend half of what I think I need to spend, what would that look like? Now, Jay Agata, I don't know how much money you're looking for, and you don't need to say, maybe you're already only asking for a couple of $1,000. I don't know. But so I just wanted to put that out there. Now, so there's 3 routes that you can go. The first one is ask people that you know, family, friends, former coworkers, a former boss. And let's say you need $5,000. You go to one person and they give you $1,000. You go to another person and they give you $2,000. You go to another person. So you find investors. You find investors. You find investors. And you look at it that way. And when you go to them, you go, look, I'm looking for some investors. I want to start this business and I'm serious. And I'm willing to work really hard for this. And It's who do you know, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know? That's one route that you can go. And again, it's kind of some of the guilt and shame around money. It'll start to surface emotionally when you start soliciting people. If this is one route that you'd like to go, again, there's two more I'm going to talk about after this, but you're expecting maybe to get a no from people. Well, you might be surprised, first of all. Second of all, don't limit yourself to the people that you're going to go ask. What about that manager you had 10 years ago at that job who really liked you? And you know the guy's well off, right? And you're like, I'll look him up on Facebook. And I'll go, hey, I got a question for you. What's your cell phone number? Call him up and go, hey, dude, here's what I got. And if they ask you for collateral, I don't know, sign the title to your car over. I don't know. Right? And this is if like you got bad credit, you can do stuff like this. You could, even if you got good credit, you could do this. And you could go get some money from one person, some more money from another person. And let's say you, and I mean really, like, make a list of all the people you know. This is something I learned when I did multi-level marketing, because I've tried a few multi-level marketing companies. And there are some good ones. They're not all bad. But one of the things that they explained to us was, don't limit yourself. Like, you know more people than you think you do. Because people, again, they always get, it's just automatic. The fear and the shame and the lack mentality around money and stuff like this, it's like embedded. And people, they just tend to be reactive and they go, I don't know anybody. BS. Sit down with a piece of paper and write down all the names of all the people you know. And I mean fucking every person you know. What about that one guy from high school? And you kind of know him. You maybe saw him at the high school reunion one time. And you guys saw each other around and you were acquaintances. You know what I mean? But it's not like you know him like real well. Well, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if you contact him? And you go, hey man, I got a business question for you. I'm looking for investors. This is what I'd like to do. And I'm just kind of contacting everybody I know to see if there's anybody that can help me out. And maybe even that guy that you barely know from high school, maybe he's like, all right, here's $500. Pay me back in a year. Can I get 2 years? All right, 2 years. And if he wants to write something down, write out an agreement, right? That's cool. I got 2 years to pay back $500. All right. Your goal is 5,000, but that's $500. All right, next person on the list. They said no. Next person, 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 they said yes. And remember, write this down. It's a numbers game. This is entrepreneurialism 101, guys. I've learned this stuff. Everything that I'm talking about right now, this is what you hear entrepreneurs explain this stuff. If you go learn from them, if you take one of their classes, or if you read one of their books, these concepts I'm explaining to you right now. Okay, so here's another one. Everything is a numbers game. You're going to get 10 no's before you get one maybe. And out of every 10 maybes, you might get 2 yeses. So get started and write down, I mean, every fucking person you know. Go talk to them. Even if you barely know them. You got an Uber driver one time and you got their phone number because you guys hit it off and you haven't talked to the guy in 2 years. Oh, well, call him up. And remember, the worst thing that could happen, they're going to say no. even if they get all butt hurt, like, who the fuck are you? It's whatever. It's just somebody being a snot. They're just being a little snot. Worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to say no. Okay. So that's one avenue that you can go. The second avenue is to like go to a traditional bank, or even better, a credit union. And if you go to a bank, go to a small financial institution, a local bank. Go to the mom and pop's little bank. If you find what you believe to be a mom and pop's local bank, get on Google and look and see how many branches do they have. Oh, they got one. I'm going there, right? Or they got 10. You can try the big banks too. Try them all. Because here's the thing, you guys. Let me tell you a quick story. I worked at a lumber yard, a mom and pop's lumber yard. It's still there. I worked there for, I don't know, 6-7 years. And I was sales manager, and I was like big cheese. And the guy that started the place, he was from Kansas, right? And he was a farm boy, and he said, I'm going to start a lumber yard. And his wife was like, yeah, right. And when she said that, he was like, I'm going to show her, right? And he probably talked to literally 150 different banks. He got told 149 times. He got told no 149 times. You would think that after 20 times, 30 times, he would have given up. What is this guy's problem? You've been told no 73 different times, and you're going to ask again? Bro. And you know what he said? You're goddamn right, I'm gonna. Finally, he found somebody who said yes. He found a banker that was like, I get it. I'll take a chance on you. And the banker made it happen. And now he's a multimillionaire. He owns one of the largest mom and pops lumber yards in the country. Oh, by the way, the first avenue where I talked about just talking to people that you know, here's another thing that you do. When people tell you no, you go, all right, well, thank you. I appreciate your time. By the way, before I let you go, do you know anybody else who might help me out? Who do you know? Do you know anybody? Even if it's a banker or that person's friend or family member, do you know anybody? Exhaust every single resource all the way. I knew a guy when I was a teenager. I worked at Safeway, and he was he wasn't a cheapskate, actually. He had nice things, but he was extremely frugal. He would like get the big pack of gum because it was a little cheaper by the piece. It went longer. Right? You buy more, you get a lower price per unit, right? You would buy the big pack. And he would chew the gum, and then on his lunch break, he would take the gum and put it on his plate. And then after he was done eating, chew the gum again. And it was because, well, the gum still has flavor. The gum still has flavor. I'm going to use the gum all the way until it's all the way done and it's all the way out of flavor. Okay, dude. But hey, he had a nice car and he had a nice place and he had money in the bank. And so, Jay Agata, chew the gum until it's all the way out of flavor. Everybody you talk to, ask them who they know. And so that's the first avenue. The second avenue is to go approach banks and credit unions. Big banks, little banks, credit unions, right? All of them. All of them. All of them. And when they tell you no, go, okay, thank you. By the way, do you know anybody? And those people do know people. Those people are connected. And you're going to get told, again, it's all numbers. It's a numbers game. You're going to get told no like 10 or 15 times before you get the one yes. If you got to get told no 20 times, keep asking. Ask the next person and the next person and the next person. And then it's who do you know? Who do you know? And you get told no 20 times, finally you get a yes. Or you could be like the guy that started the lumberyard that I worked at. You get told no 140 times. So there's big banks, there's small banks, there's credit unions, and then there's also companies that are just like financial companies. There's one I borrowed some money from called Springleaf Financial, and then there's City Financial, and there's these little loan houses, I think is what you would call them. They don't really take deposits. They're not like a traditional bank. They're like little places you can go to like borrow some money. Look for stuff like that. Like, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies, by the way, but I had a loan a long time ago from a company called Springleaf. And there's another one called Lending Club. And then there's another one called City Financial. And City, they actually have credit cards and stuff too. PayPal. If you have a PayPal account and you start using it, eventually you're going to get an email from them going, hey, you want to borrow some money? Right? PayPal issues credit cards, and they're not very hard to get. You'd be amazed at how easy it is to get a credit card. And I know credit cards, the interest rate is really bad. This is like your last option. If you've exhausted all the other resources, this is your third route, is credit cards. Yeah. But now, let's say you need cash to purchase something. A little trick I learned a long time ago when I was so flat broke, I couldn't afford a postage stamp, and now I could buy this for myself for Christmas. The trick I learned was to pay you're welcome, Jay Agata. You might come back and watch the rest, because I'm going to complete my thoughts about all this stuff. So you might want to come back and watch the tail end of this. But yeah, I would pay some of my bills, gas, groceries, cell phone, with credit cards. And then by the end of the month, in my budget, it displaces all the cash that I would have used out of my bank account to pay for those things. And now I've got cash money, because some people, they don't want credit cards. And credit cards, but it is a thing. And here's the last thing that I'm going to tell you, Jay Agata. Out of all three of these avenues that you go, so again, let's say you need $5,000. What if the first avenue, where you ask a bunch of people that you already know, you end up getting $2,500 out of everybody? The second avenue, I'm going to get $2,000. Oh, I'm almost to my goal. All I need is another $500. Right, get a $500 credit card. Bing, there's your 5,000 bucks. Just like that. And by the way, use the law of attraction to believe that you're going to get the money and that it's going to be easy. And by the way, that's not a stretch for anybody. And I'll tell you why. You live in Seattle, United States. It's easy to get money in America. It's shockingly easy. And everybody has this scarcity mindset. It's so easy to make money here or to borrow money here. There's money everywhere. Now, before we finish off for the day today, that was a great question, by the way, Jay Agata, and I think it's something that everybody watching benefited from greatly. The secret of money. So we just kind of talked about you get what you deserve. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. And then I'm going to go into learning about money itself, which is kind of one of the things we just talked about, Jay Agata. We talked about money itself. So you get what you deserve, guys. How do you feel in your subconscious? Do you deserve abundance? We already talked about the cultural conditioning, the programming, the guilt and shame around money that the elite have put there thousands of years. All the churches, all the major government institutions for thousands of years, they've been telling us money is the root of all evil. Yeah, that's not what the Bible says, bro. That's not what the Bible says. It says if you fucking worship money like it's a god, that's the root of all evil. That's not what we're talking about. We already went through all that stuff. If you missed that, go back and watch the whole live. You deserve abundance. And even if it takes, and again, I've been chipping away at the subconscious programming, the emotional responses I have using my conscious mind to reprogram my subconscious mind for 5 years. And it's really starting to work, you guys. I know I deserve money. And again, let's talk about deserving money, because if you're a lying scam artist son of a bitch, do you deserve money? If you're selling somebody some crappy, half-cooked service or product, and you know it's a piece of crap and you don't give a shit, do you deserve money? Again, what did Jim Rohn say? He said, focus on helping people and the money will follow. Don't focus on the money. What is your it? What's the it? I got to make it happen. It needs to happen. Right. What's the it? Are you focusing on the money? Focus on helping people and focus on your unconscious reactive habits of thought about money and about what's possible. You know, I had kind of a bad customer service experience with Amazon recently. And it wasn't Amazon. I want to correct myself there. Amazon was actually helpful, but it happened to be a seller on Amazon. I purchased some items and they never showed up at my house. And it said, oh, it was delivered to a parcel locker. Oh, great. So it's one of those parcel lock. They have that like Amazon parcel lockers around. There's got to be a dozen of them just in my region where I live here, right? Just this whole part of the metro area that I live in. I have no idea which one it is. Could you, like, can you do something? And I wasn't even rude about it at all. I was very nice. And the seller just kind of blew me off. Like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. So wait a minute. I gave you money and I don't have my stuff and you're not going to do anything about it. So I get to hold the bag, huh? I'm the one left holding the bag. I don't think so. I either need my money or my stuff. And they didn't respond. They just ignored me. Can't you, they just kind of went, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. If it was my business, I would get on the phone with the shipper or the postal service or something. I would start making some phone calls for my customer. Wouldn't you? Guys, we have people who accidentally on my website, they'll sign up for the paid coaching. Well, what I mean is you buy the video program, and then there's the coaching calls and the Facebook communities. And you get the gold package, for example. It's the best one because you get 2 months of the group coaching with your original purchase. So you get a trial membership for 2 months with the gold package, but they accidentally, they click the blue button on the website homepage to renew the group coaching calls, and then they pay $44, right? And they never activate their trial period. And they end up paying us for like 6 months. And then one day, either we catch it or they catch it. And it's usually us, like my customer service department. They'll get contacted about some other question or something, and they'll start looking at the person's account, and they're going to be like, wait a minute, shit, this person never got their trial period, right? They've been paying us. They were entitled to 2 free months. And we've had people have 2 subscriptions going at the same time. And we had to give them back, let's see. We had to give them back $500 because they were paying us for like 11 months or something, almost a year. They kept paying us for 2 subscriptions. And we caught it, and we gave them all their money back. That's how you run a business. You don't just go, oh, there's nothing I can do. So, of course, I complained to Amazon, and they were like, yeah, here you go. And they gave me my money back. Right? You guys do the right thing. Act ethically. Do what's fair. Treat everybody equally. Be fair. Right? And do the best job for your customers. Don't do a good job. Do not do a good job. Don't do that. Don't do a good job. Do the best job that you can fucking do. Push yourself. What can I do here? Take care of your customer. Make that your it. How do I get it to happen? What's your it? Well, my it is helping people as much as I can. What do I got to do to help this person? I'll do anything. And if you do that, they'll want to give you money. That's what I do. I'm up here doing this live. I've made a whole $12.76. Most of these lives go for 2.5 hours. Guys, that's like $5 or $6 an hour. And here's the other thing. Why do I do that? Why? I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about $5, $6 an hour. I'm just saying, right? Because you could look at that and be like, well, yeah, if you're only getting $5 an hour, why would you do that? Yes, indeed. Why? Can anybody guess? Can anybody guess why I'm doing this every single Wednesday? Yeah, because I'm helping people. But why? Why help people? I mean, I am helping people, but I had a guy that showed up this morning and mowed my lawn. I paid a company to come mow my lawn. He's helping people, and he's like the manager. He was like the main guy, right? Why does he do it? Why does he run the company that way? Why does he show up on time every week and mow my lawn? He likes being outside, right? He likes doing what he's doing. That's why. He loves it, right? He likes it. Hey, Mikey, I think he likes it, right? Right. You guys, you watch me up here do these videos. I'm fucking passionate and it shows. Yes. Thank you, Lucy. You took the words right out of my mouth. I'm passionate and it shows. I love doing this shit. It's fun. And remember what I told you earlier, if you're going to start a business, pick something you love. Don't pick something you like. And don't do a good job. Don't pick something you like and don't do a good job. Pick something you love and do the best fucking job possible. Right? Now, let's talk about you get what you deserve again. When we consider the kind of advice I'm giving you about how to run a business, for example, if you run your business that way, do you deserve money? Fuck yeah. Guys, and you can get out of bed every day and you can be like, I'm doing such a good thing. I'm proud of myself. Really, give myself a pat on the back. I take care of people. I charge fair prices. I do everything I can to help people. I do what's fair. There are people who try to take advantage of you. We've had people, email us and go, I want my money back. We don't do refunds, dude. I didn't like it. Cool. Well, I went to the movie theater and I watched the 9/11, it's called World Trade Center. I think it was, what's the guy's name? He did Natural Born Killers, I think. The director, what was the guy's name? I don't remember. But he did the World Trade Center movie, and everybody thought it would be cerebral and like action-packed, and it was an okay movie. It was pretty disappointing. It was a nice story, and it was a true story, but I was like, I thought he was going to like expose things about 9/11, right? And maybe talk about something a lot more interesting, let's just say, right? Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone made that movie Wall Street. Remember that movie? It's fucking Oliver Stone. I saw the World Trade Center movie and I was like, did he sell out? Did he join the elite cult? What's going on here? All right, I'm going to call Oliver Stone and I'm going to go, hey, motherfucker, I want a refund. Is he going to give me my money back? Do I go to the movie theater ticket office and go, I want my money back? No. If you go to the store and buy a compact disc or a DVD, take it home, open the wrapper, put the DVD in your DVD player, watch the whole thing, and you go, I didn't like it. You take it back to the store and they give you your money back. No. They're going to go, no, we don't give refunds, dude. You opened it, you used it. It's yours. That's not how that works, right? So you got to be fair too. And that might mean saying no to people. And if they get mad and they call me names and they say you're a scam artist and you're a fraud, that doesn't make it true. So there is that. And that doesn't happen very much at all. But it'll happen to you eventually. You just do what's fair and you run things ethically and you do everything you can to help people and you're doing everything right. You play by all the rules. My employees, for example, they got vacation. Full-time employees, they get vacation, sick time. Everybody, even part-time employees, they get personal days. I don't overwork them. I pay them on time. I pay them like a good, decent amount of money. I don't just pay them some fucking minimum wage, like $20 an hour or something, or, like a reasonable like above reasonable wage. You know what I'm saying? And it's a nice place to work too. It's a cool job. You know what I'm saying? I do everything for everybody. Now, again, I say to you, do I deserve money? Hell yeah. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You deserve money too. You get what you deserve, not what you want. You get what you deserve, not what you want. And again, go watch this whole entire live. We got to dispel all the rumors and myths, all the guilt and shame around money. Go watch the beginning if you missed it. We got to dispel all the myths, all the guilt and shame around money. There's enough money on earth for everybody to have $50 million and still have a bunch left. The elite just hoard it all. And then they tell us we're bad. And the myth about money has been perpetuated for so long, thousands of years, that it's embedded now in our subconscious. And you can tell it is. And I even remember I gave you a specific example. That's why I'm saying to those of you that have just joined us, go watch the whole thing. Because when you take money from somebody, how do you feel about it? Right. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel like unsure. Like, should I be doing this? Right? Like, am I supposed to be doing this? And again, using your conscious mind to reprogram your subconscious mind. And it can take years, so get started. You deserve money. You deserve money, and you get what you deserve. That's how the law of attraction works. That's how it works. You are righteous. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. And you're doing a great job. You're not doing a great job. You're doing the best job. You're going beyond great job. I'd say you deserve money. When you work at your job, if you're employed somewhere, do you do the best job you can? Did you pick a job that's beyond just a clock punching, money making job? And you might have to start out that way, but hey. You know, when I started New World All-Star, I was selling tarot readings. I don't sell them anymore. Don't ask, because I don't sell them. I will not. But I used to, and it was so much money for an hour. And I would end up talking to them for 3 or 4 hours because I wanted to help them. Why, thank you, Anwar. That's very kind of you. How do you know what you like? Ask God. Meditate on it and take your time figuring out the answer to that question. That's a great question. Take your time. Let the answer emerge, even if it takes several months. It's beyond understanding. There's no steps. It's intuitive. Remember, 80 to 90% of your manifesting game is your Zen game. Now, we got about 8 minutes left. I've got a client session right after this, so I've got to go. Annie, you make a good point. It takes one to know one, Anwar. You too are a pure soul. And you're deserving of abundance too. All of you are. All of you. It's your natural state. Again, I already talked about that, how the universe is prolific. It's very, very abundant. Now, here's the last thing I wanted to talk about before we go today. Learn about money, even if you are a person that just wants a job. You just want to be an employee, and that's great. We're always going to need employees, workers. You might even be the kind of person that, I don't really care. I'll go work at a regular whatever job. Clock punching, regular job. It's not even something. There's lots of people like that where they're like, I don't really care. I just want income. I'll go to work. I don't mind. I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever work my boss tells me to do. And I get my paycheck and I go home and I'm good. And they're cool with that. And if you're cool with that, that's cool. Because maybe you're just more focused on, hey, when I get home from work, I got my nice house, I got an apartment, it's all fixed up, my home, it's all fixed up the way I like it. I got good friends and my family, and that's all I want. And that's great. And you can do that too. You can even manifest just any old job, which, even though it's just any old job, like that kind of person wants, right? If that's what you want, you could even manifest just whatever job that makes more money than you make now. You can even do that. Just find something else, right? And maybe the job you have stresses you out. And so you're like, I'll find something else. And it'll be less stressful and more money. You can do that. But even if that's you, this is what I'm trying to tell you, even if you fall into one of those categories, what I'm trying to tell you is learn about money. And I mean, get down to the core, get down to the root of money. I'm talking about learn about what money is. It's a medium of exchange. They used to use sticks of wood for 1,200 years in Britain. They called them tally sticks. People used to use yak dung. Now we use pieces of paper. And the pieces of paper we use here in the United States, and most countries are like this, are a debt-based system. And I'm not for that. And when I tell you how the banking system in this country works, you'd be like, what? But I don't want to talk about that here. If you want to hear more about that, go over here. Again, I'm going to do a video specifically about that. Let's just say the way the banking system is run and the way they create money in the United States is criminal. It is. But it's legalized crime, basically. Anyway, learn about that. Learn about what is money. What is the history of money? What is the history of the oligarchy, the ruling class? And learn about finance also. Learn about money. Learn about investing, saving money. Again, a great place to start, you guys. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Even if you're not trying to start a business, what you do with your money once you make that money is huge. Robert Kiyosaki has a saying, and it's to be taken with a grain of salt, but the saying goes, savers are losers. Savers are losers. And what he means by that is, where are you putting your money? I know people who have a 401k, they just retired a couple of years ago, and their 401k went down 30% over the last 2-3 years. Is that a good place to put money? But let me tell you something, guys. Because I'm educated about this stuff, I put my money in places where it's gone up over the last 3 years. And no matter what the economy does, the value of my assets will always increase. Why? Because I know the game. I know about money. I know the history of the elite, the oligarchs who run the money system. And because I know those two things, I'm able to put my money in better places to preserve the value of my money indefinitely. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki has a YouTube channel, by the way. Even he's like pumping out all this free information for you guys. And you'll see other guests come onto his show and they'll talk about this stuff. And if you watch him talk for a year or two, even if you're like, I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about, just keep listening. After a year or two, it's going to start making sense. And then go read his book too. And that's just one person that you can listen to talk about money, is him. Anna, have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us today. He's just one person you can listen, talk to about money. And there's lots of other people. Bert Doman. I like Bert Doman. Learn about money, you guys. Learn about money. Even if you're just working, be smart with your money. The system, again, it wants to trick you. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. We have to be aware of that. So that's it. That's the deal, guys. You get what you deserve. Anwar, it's my pleasure. I'm very honored to be able to have such an impact on your life and the lives of everybody else who I've reached. Well, I think that's going to do it for today, you guys. Great conversation today. Go out there and get a whole bunch of money because you absolutely deserve it. You deserve the best, you guys. You do, if you say you do. If you're honest, if you're ethical, if you're hardworking, hell yeah, you do. Go get yours. Go get yours, guys. You deserve it. All right, I'll be back next Wednesday. You guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you then.